everybody. How you guys doing today as we start the Unedited Podcast?
Wow.
Totally different. Huh?
Yeah, that was way different.
I was just looking at your face to see how you
I missed it. Did you get a nod, a point, a thumbs up?
Thumbs up this time.
Okay. I was just curious. I missed that, and then I heard you, and I was like, "Oh!"
You're like, "What is happening
we
right
are
now?"
Going.
Well, we want to welcome everybody to the Unedited Podcast, a podcast featuring real conversations about real life, where we dig deeper into the weekend message as well as answering your questions on faith, culture, and life. I'm the Bald Eagle. I forgot my name tag today, though. I was gonna wear it.
I don't know who I am. Sad Pirate.
Sad Pirate. We still get some PJs around here.
No. That one's dead.
I don't know. Some people still
bring it. This ain't baptism. We ain't bringing it out.
We ain't bringing it back up.
It is drowning.
Well,
so you think faith, culture, and life captures everything?
It does.
Is that pretty large bucket?
Yeah, life. Okay. I mean, everything in life. Like
life be life and
life be life. And how's your life be life? And how you doing?
My life is good. It's good. We were out in California a week ago, and that was super fun. Got to go watch my daughter run a half marathon. I say watch her run a half marathon.
You just get the end, right? Like, or is there two spots you can see?
There was 14,000 people that ran in her half marathon category. And then my son-in-law, Noah, who's been on here, resident professor.
Yes.
He ran a full marathon just because he doesn't have enough going on in his life. Yeah. And there was 6,000 in his category. So Cindy decided she was going to do the halfway point and hand off the drinks. And I heard that was like super relaxed. They walked down to the beach from where our Airbnb was.
Wow.
Like, just not a whole lot of tension.
Yeah.
Other than the pressure of we might miss them type thing.
Yeah.
The finish line, you were 5 to 6, if not 10 people deep from being able to see. So you had to like get your way through. And I have a video. So I was probably 6 people deep. My daughter's coming down. You're like tracking her by like the Find My Phone type thing.
Uh-huh.
She's coming down. And so I just held my phone up and started videoing. And the video is like me following, but she's not in, the sun was in my eyes, so I can't see if she's in the shot or not. And right at the end at the finish line, she comes through. So technically I got the finish.
You got the finish.
But yeah, it was good. It was fun to hang out with my kids, and that's good. Such a huge gift.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Well, how about you? You good?
Doing good. A little tired. We'll get to that in a moment as far as weekend and how it was. We had some very special guests this last weekend that we'll be debriefing. And so spent a lot of time with them and pretty exhausted from that.
Did you see your 49ers?
Dude, so a couple things. Let's talk about, before we get to the sadness of the 49ers, let's talk about my perfect record in fantasy. That is also
It's going to continue.
It's going to continue.
It's going to continue. You are going to be perfect alone.
I'm perfect. And perfect does not mean good for anyone listening. I am 0-6 right now.
Let's go.
I will be after tonight.
Yep.
There's a slight chance, though, something could happen. But
what do you need to happen? It's like the impossible. The rest of
his players to die. Like that's all.
We're gonna stop and pray.
Yeah. But it's not looking good, and I've been doing fantasy football for like probably 10 or 12 years now. Multiple leagues. I've never gone the first 6 games without getting a win. It's unbelievable.
To be fair, though, you lost both of your receivers in the same week.
I did. To be
fair,
for
the season,
my team was not bad in the beginning. It was hard luck. Then everyone got hurt, and it's really bad now.
You know who's breaking out of the perfect streak?
Yeah, I do.
I don't want to take it yet because tonight
something could happen.
So he's got a defense. I have Debo, and Debo is questionable. So I'm like, man, if they take Debo's out and his defense gets over 11 points, which is possible.
Oh my gosh. Now I got something else to pray for then, because I need you to stay perfect with me instead of getting a win. That's crazy. So not only did I lose that, but also the 49ers lost and Fred Warner's out for the year. I was going to say,
that's the loss right there.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, it's horrific. They only showed it once from a distance. And that was already like, I just instantly looked at Cindy and I'm like, he broke his ankle.
Yeah, broken ankle and needs surgery to repair all of the ligaments and everything in there. So out for the season. He's our best defensive player.
Yeah.
And Bosa was out a couple weeks ago for the whole season. I mean, dude, the team's just falling apart. We have no
That's the
starters
story
left.
of your last couple of years, though, is just injuries.
Yeah, we had, I saw the report. We had 26 guys on the injured list.
What?
26 guys on the IL. Isn't that crazy?
How is that even possible?
I know.
How is it possible that you're still even, 4-2?
Yeah, 4-2. We were leading. We were 4-1 heading into this weekend. Lost to Bucks. They're doing good this season now. So,
yeah, Bucks look good. But they're wide receivers. They're down to like 5 and 6 on the depth chart for wide receiver. And did you see the catch the one guy made?
No, I didn't.
You got to go back and see the catch. He's a rookie. I think he's a rookie. But, I mean, fingertips diving into the ends. I mean, it was pretty impressive.
Well,
his I don't know what it's officially called, back handspring, half twist, whatever. Was also impressive.
Well, really disappointing week for me in football, but we'll see. Hopefully next week is better.
But you know who it's not disappointing for? Those Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
they got the dub again. 4-1.
That Aaron Rodgers.
4-1. And he looked sprightly.
Wow. Well,
so, you know.
That fountain of youth, you've been talking about it. He found it. It's crazy. Crazy stuff over here. Well, I do want to thank all our viewers and listeners for being with us once again this week. If you would like to rate or review the show, we would love for you to do that, and we will read it on the show. Tell everyone about how awesome this show is and give us 5 stars. See how I just straight up asked for it?
I like that.
Yeah.
Expectant.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
So if you would do that, we would love that. We do have questions that we're going to hop into, and this first question is one that I don't know if many people think through.
You don't have Oreos.
Don't have Oreos. And we actually do have 2 Oreos in the queue, and I left them at home. So we don't have them. So we'll be back next week with some Oreos.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Are you excited about
I showed up. Like, where's the Oreos, man?
So you wanted them. Okay, good.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we did get a question that was like, why are you guys obsessed with Oreos? We're actually not. This just happened to us. We are a victim of the fact that... We
happened to see a random, during football, Post Malone commercial for his Oreos, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. The people just keep bringing them. That's what happens. And other products. My office is packed with other products.
I think people should let us know, though. What's your favorite cookie?
Yeah, how are they going to let us know?
I don't know. I don't figure that stuff
Let us know somehow what's your favorite.
Go on social, DM us. Yeah. DM this video. When you smash the like button, hit the comment next to it and tell us what kind of cookie you like.
All right, there he goes. He's getting crazy, guys. But we do have questions. David asked this question.
I got the new beard shaking his head. Yeah, that's a win every time.
That's a win every time. If we can get any of the beards,
makes my day.
Just, go, what is happening
makes
right
my
now?
Day. I want to know how many people fast forward past the intro and how many people are like, I'm here for the intro.
My wife's only here for the intro.
She's only here for the intro.
So David asks this. I read a stat about how difficult pastors have had it the last few weeks and how 42% of pastors have thought about quitting in the last year. I just want to say thank you. I think you have done an awesome job navigating the Charlie Kirk tragedy and the obvious growth and movement of God at our church. My only question is, how can we better support you as our pastors?
Wow.
I know. I love that.
David, first of all, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for being supportive. Thanks for being kind. Thanks for being encouraging. That means a lot. It means a lot,
and it just super candid here. It's few and far between.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily realize that. Like we have certain people in the church that are major encouragers and are constant encouragers, and that's great.
Yeah.
But as an overall, like it doesn't really happen much.
Yeah.
So thank you, David, for that. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think what's so interesting with the topic specifically, if we just take Charlie Kirk, I think what's so interesting is in the last week since, because of the type of church Heights is, which we love, it's diverse in, we are same page Jesus, diverse everything else, right? Like, so you can like the 49ers, I can like the Steelers, right? Like, and that goes for all areas of life. So with Charlie Kirk, there are people in our church that have come up that are avid supporters. The church should be doing more. You didn't say enough. We should be, mentioning him week after week after week. On the other side, there are people that are like, why did you say anything at all?
Yeah.
Right. And so I think what's so interesting to hear David go, like just celebrate the way it was navigated. That means a lot, because to your point, you often hear from those two extremes, and not very often from people that are like, hey, we're just thankful for what you guys did. Now, in this case, because I voiced it from stage, like the struggle I had, there has been more encouragement that's come, which has been awesome.
And I'm glad you did, though, because a lot of times people don't understand that, the saying, you're danged if you do, you're danged if you don't, right? Like,
where'd you pull that one from?
I had to edit it a little bit there. But the truth is that is the case of being a pastor 95% of the time, is that any decision we make will make somebody mad.
Yeah. Well, and especially in a church our size.
In the same sermon come up and tell me, you shouldn't have done this. And then someone come in and say, you should have done more of this, of the same thing in the same church. I'm like, this is crazy.
That was the worst message you ever gave. That was the best message. I've never heard you speak. And I think maybe to answer the question, I better support. I think the first thing I would ask personally is, we're human.
Yeah.
Like, and my own personal opinion that I hold as a human often doesn't make it to the stage, not because I'm ashamed of my personal view, but because in that moment, it's not about me. Mm-hmm. It's about, and this is where I like, as I've reflected on the Charlie Kirk one specifically, the weight is in, you see God doing so much in our community. And this is a moment kind of like we had with the various things throughout COVID and the years after, where I don't want what I say to be a hindrance to what God is doing.
Yeah.
And I don't want this subcategory outside of church to be the thing that moves you away from Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's where the tension comes in, is trying to weigh how you navigate, how you walk through in a way that honors the Lord first, that puts me on a back, like my opinion, my whatever, on the back burner, and what is best for the church family as you look at all the diversity, all of what God is doing, and go, how do we stoke that fire in the midst of having to say something culturally to something that's happening?
Yeah, and I think we live in a culture that is so critical, hypercritical of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And we as Christians, we as Christians are so fast to just shoot each other.
Yeah.
We are so fast to just shoot each other. I'm very concerned with some people that have come up of like, if your church didn't do, then leave right now. And it's like, man, you're just shooting your own kind right now. Why are we doing this? Why are we being so critical of each other instead of realizing we're on the same team and going, yes, people could have handled it better. People could have handled it not as good. I mean, like, there's varying levels of how people handle it. However, to crucify somebody who has or hasn't done it the way you wanted to, you're just shooting your own kind, and it is unnecessary.
Dude, in our community, there was a pastor that was, and I don't know how many posts, and this is the train wreck of social media, right? Like, if your pastor doesn't say something, leave that church. Exactly. That was in our community. Yeah. Then what that same pastor does, and it's unedited, so he's going to hear it maybe. I don't know. I don't think he listens. But same community, same pastor holds a class for how you find a new church.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, okay, back to your point. Now we're just shooting our own. Now we're being divisive. Now if you want to call it the sheep, you're stealing sheep from pens and for whatever reason, right? Like, and that's where it was frustrating to me, like watching it, and you were off social media, but watching a video of somebody walking out of their church that they've been a part of for 10 years going, leave my church today. They didn't say anything, so I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
It's back to what God's doing. It's back to what God's building.
The devil's using it to distract, man. The devil's like, this is great. I have something that I can distract from what God is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the distraction is the devil, right? Like in the division is the devil. Mm-hmm. Division is never from God.
Yeah.
And so it's weighing those things, and that week was so heavy because like I'm weighing, I know my words matter. I know the position that God's put me in for this season, right? Like I know the weight of that. And in my human flesh, it's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Right? And at the same time going, man, God, I just want to be faithful to for this not to be a moment of distraction, division, but to be a moment that actually strengthens the church and our family.
Yeah.
And praise God, he did that. The Holy Spirit did that.
Absolutely. And it's very evident. It's been very clear, and God is on the move very much so. David, I would say one of the things, because we live in this is what I was going to say before I kind of went on a tangent there, but what I was going to say is because we live in such a culture of criticism, man, when you hear it, squash it, because gossip and things like that can just spread like wildfire. And most of the time it's not true, and it's an assumption, or it's taking something out of context or whatever. So I would just say for anyone listening, one of the ways that you can better support us as pastors is squashing gossip that's not true.
Yeah. And another good one with that is ask the question, right? Like there's no harm in asking a question. And sometimes we'll say stuff in one service that we don't say in another. And so instead of going, I heard, and therefore I'm mad, and therefore I've drawn conclusions, instead just going, hey, this was mentioned, but I didn't hear it in the service I was in. I'm just curious what happened or what it means, or instead of coming with a pre-made judgment of now I'm just going to shoot you because I heard this third hand from whoever.
That reminds me of a Ted Lasso quote.
Oh, yeah.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Hey,
ooh, there you go.
There you go. Look at That's Ted good. Coming in clutch.
There we go. I love that. Well, David, hopefully that answers a little bit of that question. And I know the question was more to just give us some encouragement. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Let's hop into the weekend and recap the weekend. Man, such a good weekend. It
was amazing.
I think I have a skewed view of how amazing it was. So I do need to hear your perspective because we had the Dominicans with us this weekend, and my wife and I have had a privilege of going down and leading a team for the Dominican for 10 days. Pastor Bob and I have gone down and celebrated with them for the first class of Casa Misioneros graduation. And so got to spend a lot of time with them and built relationships with them. So this last weekend is just nonstop of us spending time with our friends from the Dominican.
It's awesome. So, which was very evident, by the way.
Late nights, early mornings, sat in the front row of every service dancing. And it was just so exciting. And I loved having them here, but I think they also brought so much to the church as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I coming out Saturday night to host, and you were literally front center. You could not be more center.
Exactly.
And then Sunday morning, I'm like, oh, there's Todd again.
There I am.
And then at one point, you guys, there was like a layer on the floor in front of.
Yes, there was.
So it was a party. It was
so good. Everyone we brought on the trip with us, the students. So I led a bunch of high school students. So the Casa Misioneros students are of college age. And our students are older high school age.
Yeah.
And so there's some really close crossover there. So some of the students, one of the young ladies that we had on stage this weekend singing, just a gorgeous voice. She shared her testimony a little bit as well. Her name is Priscilla. She's 18 years old.
Yeah.
And we have our students, quite a few of them that are seniors that went on the trip that are 18 years old. So it's like they became such good friends. And so anytime they had a second of free time, all of our students wanted to be with them and hang out with their friends. And so,
which is going back years and years ago. So I got, I think I've been at Heights. So this is probably 16 years ago.
Okay.
I go on a vision trip with Colby at the time and her sister to the Dominican. And we drive around in this car with this guy named Nelson. And we visit these different places, and you can see the potential of what has got up to, what does this look like, and at the time we didn't have the language we would have today for it. Mm-hmm. But at the time we knew we no longer wanted to just support a missionary because they were connected to us by some denomination, right? Like we knew we didn't want to support them. Mission organization, so you get 3 or 4 from the same organization.
Right.
Like we wanted a community where we could build genuine relationships. Right. And so hanging out with Nelson at that time, I'm like, Nelson is a guy, first of all, he's a phenomenal leader. Then to see him within the pastoral, how he functioned within churches, it was clear that it's like, man, this is a guy we can build a long-term relationship with, and that have ripple effects. And he was speaking similar language. We don't want a team to just come down and build a building. We want partners to come, and it's a joint thing we're doing. And so the goal was this relationship, which at the time, I mean, I've never done it before, right? Like, how do you develop that? How do you build that? So to see it go from 16 years ago to where it was this weekend, and I would even say last time they were here, and it's grown exponentially even in a year, there are deep relationships and friendships.
Yeah. And
for some of the Dominican team to even like voice back to me, this feels like family. And God's answered prayers that we didn't even have language for back then, right? And so it's just so sweet to see this weekend.
So sweet to see, and so blessed by Nelson's message we'll get into in a second was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Worship off the charts. We actually got a question in about that. Dana asked this question. It was awesome to worship with the DR people. I noticed they worship from the tip of their toes and with their whole being. Why do you think we are so reluctant or hold back to fully embrace our worship sometimes?
I think there's multiple reasons.
There's multiple reasons.
The real easy one is Harrison, who led in Prescott. At one point he looked at me and he said, "You got to catch that tropical rhythm." And I looked at him and go, "There ain't no tropical rhythm.
Don't have any of that."
and yet the desire's there, right? Like the desire is there to worship freely and so culturally, I think they've created a cultural context where they worship freely. And there's some natural gifting that goes with that.
I think natural gifting. I think also spending time in the Dominican, the culture it's not just in their worship, it's in everything they do. Yeah. They're very, like, if you walk in a room and they haven't seen you in even just a couple hours, not even the first time, if they haven't seen you in a couple hours, it's screaming, "Oh my goodness, you're here," arms wide open, giving you a giant hug. They're just a little more expressive in everything they do, and it plays into their worship. But I will say that being in the Dominican, we did learn a lot from them in their worship, and seeing our students go, "Oh wow, you can kind of let your guard down when you worship. You can kind of just enjoy God's presence and be with God, and it's just, carefree worship almost." I think we in America are so guarded because we don't want to show, I don't know if it's emotion or what it is, but how am I going to look to the people around me if I were to be not guarded? Yeah. We are guarded in so many regards that even we approach worship being guarded instead of letting our walls down and going, just me and God.
Yeah. Well, you raise an interesting observation from the weekend. Like, obviously you're in the front row, right? And obviously you're with students and you guys are partying the whole time, right?
We were not probably who this question is for, because we were dancing and jumping.
But here's what's interesting. If every person could only worship from the front row, so you're unaware of who is behind you and who is seeing you.
Right.
So there's no weight of, I'm not looking at anybody else, right? Like, I'm not aware of who's looking at me. I wonder if we would worship in a way that's more expressive, that is more connected.
I think we would. I also think, if I'm honest, that was also in the back of my head.
It's insecurity, right?
I'm a pretty well-known figure at Heights Church, and my bald head is pretty recognizable. And
I saw it on camera.
In the front row, bouncing up and down. It's like, I knew people were seeing me. I knew they were looking, and I was kind of like, what are people thinking?
Right.
What is this okay?
Right.
I think it's always in the back of our heads.
Yeah. And I think that, and we have an extra layer with obviously being leaders in the community and being recognizable. But I do think people culturally, I think we have that. Culture is past, right? So you have, if the whole room was moving and you weren't, then there's a cultural expectation on you that you feel the pressure then to move. If the whole room isn't moving and you want to move, well, now I'm going to stand out, right? And then things like insecurity, things like being in my head of, well, what does it look like? What are they thinking? Like, all of a sudden we become more aware of them than we do of God, which gets us out of worship, right?
I was driving him to lunch after the service, and so I have 4 Dominicans in my car, and so they were listening to some Dominican music, and it is dance music, man. And they're dancing, and I'm giving it my best shot. And I just stopped and was like, oh my gosh, I look like such a white boy right now with these people that know how to move. What, this is awful. And it was like, even that, it was just such a conscious, like, man, I don't think I look good. Like,
Yeah.
Well, Dana, hopefully that answers that question. I don't know that there's a ton of theology behind it. I think we just get caught up in how we look, and obviously there's cultural things there. Let's talk about,
and just one more thought on that.
Yeah.
To your theology point, I know people who are deeply in love with God, committed to Him, faithful, live lives that honor Him on kingdom mission, that if you were to watch them worship and you were to judge them by their worship, because it's not expressive, you would go, well, don't they think like God is worth it? Don't they think?
Yeah.
Well, no, they've just grown up in an expression that doesn't allow for, right? Like, and I think that's where Heights, we have to have the freedom to be dancing in the front row or the middle row or whatever, and the person next to you be worshiping in a way that's not as expressive as you. Like, we have to. God made us all different, and there has to be that freedom. And the minute we get into like, you have to do this, well, it's no longer worship. I'm just obeying whoever's in front of me, right? Like, I'm just honoring the person in front of me. The connection is, man, we want you to genuinely encounter God in your worship. And so however that happens, that's what we want to promote and push.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, the message that Nelson brought this weekend, I thought was amazing. His points are just
so good.
Communicator masterclass over here.
So good.
First point that he said is that we were talking about Saul being converted to Paul. He had this conversion experience on the road to Damascus, and it says his mission turned into submission.
Yeah.
Dude, talk to me about that, because that is so good. And I think we all can apply that in so many ways.
Well, and I think when you look at what was happening on the road, right? Like he was going as one who had been commissioned, right? Like he'd received these letters to go and carry out this mission that he was on. And he was aligned with a group of people. So that for him then to be on the road, and that, if I'm remembering the language of even that passage, like, who are you, Lord? Right? Like there's this clear, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I think that submission, he falls instantly into a posture of submission. I love that Nelson brought that up this weekend. Like, his posture changed. He went from this guy who got all together, in our language, he's this gangster on a roll, right? Like he's going to go get people. And now he's in this posture of complete surrender to another power. And then to have the language of Lord. And I just think that's such a huge moment to observe of what is my posture. Yeah. Like how do we, that was I sat in all of them this weekend. And that's, for me, what got me was this question where he goes, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? Right? Like I'm now changed completely from, this doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah.
Right? My submission has changed who the authority is. And I just wonder how many people this weekend, like, they're still the authority of their life. Therefore, there is no submission to the person of Jesus. And I think that's why it was so powerful. It hit me Saturday night. I mean, we talked about it. I was like, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, okay, where's my notes app? Like, I got to remember that one, right?
Yeah. So much. I mean, all that idea itself is so good. The next one that he said, his mission was changed to admission.
Yep.
That is so good, because I think so much we want to push ourselves forward. This is the mission I'm on.
Yep.
And so we overlook all of the things in our life that we need to admit, man, this is a problem because it's keeping me from God.
Yeah.
And his mission changed to admission of, hey, I can't keep going the way I'm going. I can't do this. It's part of the surrender is admitting, and it is the admission of going, I need you. I can't do this. I need guidance. I need to change my direction. All of those things, which I think that if we're honest, for me at least, I get in ways that I go, oh, that's a small thing. I can keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Instead of coming to God with these things going, I'm laying it at your feet because I need to admit this pride, or I need to admit this lie, or I need to admit this insecurity, even whatever it is. It's like, man, God, I need to let my mission fall second to your mission. And that means I have to have an admission.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
I think in my life, I go back to, I think I was 19. I might've been 18 and a half, but I've been far away from the Lord. And I had a moment where God put me on my knees, and the admission I had to come to was, you've been in my life my whole life, and yet I don't know you. And I can't say that I love you. And yet I know you've saved me, right? Like it was just this hard, it was such a hard admission for me that it changed then my steps. And I went, okay, God, I'm going to go to Bible college. The reason I went to Bible college wasn't to do this, right? Like I had no intention of ever doing this.
Yeah.
It was, okay, God, I don't know who you are. I know you're God, but I don't know you. I got to go build a relationship. I got to go know who you are. I need to understand you.
Yeah.
Like if this is going to be the platform, I knew it was the right platform, but I had no concept, because I had to hold the admission of, you've been in my life, but I don't have a relationship with you. I don't know you intimately at all.
Well, and I think the beautiful flow of what Nelson talked about this weekend is it's submission, which leads to admission.
Yep.
Which when you submit to him and you admit, God, I need you. I need to get to know you. I need you to be the Lord of my life. All those things. It leads to exactly what his last point is your mission changes to the commission, which is the Great Commission, right? This is what God has said for us to do. And I think we've hammered it recently, but we're not going to stop, because I think the big thing that's a burden on both of our hearts right now is people need to understand the Great Commission is not just for pastors.
Yeah.
The Great Commission is for everybody. If you are a follower of Jesus, you have been called to live on kingdom mission. What is kingdom mission? It is spreading, is go and make disciples of all nations. How do you do that? By loving people, by inviting people, by sharing, by serving, by giving. That's kingdom mission. That's living on kingdom mission. And when your mission changes from, this is the mission that I'm on, this is the American dream that I'm pursuing, this is me, to the Great Commission, now you're living for Jesus. And I mean, I think he did such a great job of showing what that looks like, even with the Casa Missionera students that are like, hey, I stepped into this, and this is how I surrendered to join God's mission, not mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And you heard it with the testimony of Oscar this weekend, right? Like people naturally go, oh, you're going to make lots of money then. And he's like, but it's submitted, right? Like it's already in a posture of, I've already submitted to who is Lord of my life. And the admission of that is, I want my life to count. Whatever I do, I want it to be on mission for you. And so now I'm joining the co-mission, which means that, money that I make is going to go into the kingdom and building that. I was in Bible school or Bible college. So now I'm here to kind of learn who God is. But I had 9 months between that to raise money so that I could pay for school, because I came to the States for it. And now I'm in Bible college. And when I got there, I was like, oh, I'm going back to England. I'm going to be a youth pastor. Like nobody was reaching me in the pubs and the bars. I'm going to go do that. And it was during Bible college that God goes, I want you to be a missionary. And I was like, God, I swore I would never be a missionary. I don't want any part of that. And where he brought me back to was, you said you'd go anywhere because of who I am. Will you? Will you do anything that I ask you? Of course, the answer is yes, right? Like, but it's that admitting and then that joining, okay, God, I'm on your mission, not mine. And it led us to Canada for 5.5 years in a one stoplight town, you know? And I think that's the beauty of what he laid out this weekend, is when you begin to work your way through those. And I would encourage anybody listening, like, work your way through. Where am I at with my admission? Where am I at with, am I really on kingdom mission, like you were saying, and analyze those areas, right? Like, how am I living? How am I sharing the gospel? How am I inviting? How am I giving? Like, what does that look like? And can you say my life is aligned? Am I serving? Is it aligned to what he's called me to in all aspects? And the beauty of that goes to any age. I'm driving to my daughter to school today, and we're chatting about being the light, right? Like it's dark for her right now. And so be the light.
Yeah.
You get to step into that. And that's 12 years old living on Kingdom Mission, as well as then people that I know in their 80s going, okay, like I'm up for this. Like, what's my next Kingdom Mission, So
any age, any stage, and anywhere. That's what I love about what we got to witness this weekend is a snapshot of who God is and what God is doing in another country, in the Dominican. And I'm just really excited for Global Month as we continue to go. And next week we'll hear from another global partner that gets to see God's character played out in a snapshot in the context they're in. And we, as one family, the family of God, gets to celebrate that. And it's just, it's exciting. And I'm excited for what we have.
And shout out to Pastor Bob. He used snapshots and collection.
He tried. He got it right for most of it.
Well, he didn't do it at first. And so I sent him a text right before and I go, hey, is this possible?
He made it real weird at the last service though.
Oh, I didn't. Well, that wasn't his fault though.
It's always his fault. But
there was a whole song cut that he
was. He was a little thrown off.
He was a little flustered.
Okay, we do have a couple more questions that we're going to hop into right now. A little explaining on this question, and then the question is coming, but it's a part of the explanation as well. So Sarah asks this: chatting with my 14-year-old the other day, I realized she has been trying to process the death of a person she didn't know. She had no knowledge of Charlie Kirk until her social media flung it in her face. The video of his death has been haunting her. She wonders how this could happen to someone that was so, quote, so close to God. Those are her words, daughter's words. She doesn't understand why social media keeps replaying this horrific scene for people to mock or find some sick enjoyment from. Any advice for how to help her process this? I want it to grow her faith, but I'm scared it's testing her faith.
Wow. Well, Sarah, first of all, I'm so sorry for what your 14-year-old is walking through. It's heavy for any age, but 14 is extremely difficult. I think this question has so many layers. There's obviously the reality of social media. There's the reality of what is seen on social media and then having to process it. Mm-hmm. I woke up, I think it was yesterday, and just the reality of news, right? Like the I don't know that I'm meant to carry. Like I'm literally at the point where I'm like, I think I'm just going to turn my apps off.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know that I'm meant to carry and be forced to care for people in a small town somewhere else and what they're going through. Like, I'm just not capable of carrying those emotions, mm-hmm. right? Like,
I think God's the only one that's built to carry the weight of the world, but we are now flung into hearing the weight of the world everywhere we turn.
Yeah. And in this case, for Sarah and her daughter, like, she's now carrying something that to your point, and there is, I don't know if it's a collection or it's a one-off, like, we're just going to preach on. I actually think the amount of information we're getting is part of when they were in the garden. And in the garden, it's the idea that you can know good and evil. Well, that's to be all knowing, right? Like, and God's the only one who's capable of handling that. And yet we're at a place where information overload it's too much. Mm-hmm. We're not, to your point, we can't handle it. We're not God, right? And so I think in this case, at 14, to handle such a horrific event and then have to, well, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? What are you going to say about it? What does that look like? You just can't. I can't even do it at my age, let alone 14 years old. Well, your brain and your emotions. When you're expected to
have an opinion. Everyone's expected to have an opinion. And when you have an opinion, it's choosing a side.
Yeah.
And it's I've shared this multiple times. I am not on social media. And so that is...
How many weeks are you in now?
God's grace. I'm about 6 weeks of not being on social media. And I'll tell you, it has been so freeing. It has been a weight off of my shoulders because of the information overload.
So good.
Because of having to have an opinion on everything. Because of wondering about which side is going to be upset with what opinion you have on everything. I mean, it's exhausting. But also because of not being on social media, which Sarah, I don't know that it's good for any of us. I did not see this video. And I've heard from so many different people. I mean, I personally heard from probably 15 or 20 people that are like, I wish I did not watch that. It has haunted me. It is replayed in my head. I'm so glad. And I tell them, I didn't see the video. And they're like, be so grateful that you didn't see the video. And I mean, it's not good. And it's playing in people's head. And that is something that you can't take back. It is in your head. And
well, Pastor Ben said that he saw it. And first thing he said to me, he goes, don't watch it. And actually Pastor Caleb said the exact same thing. He's like, don't watch it. And so first, just sorry that she's going through that. I think and again, there's a whole social media maybe we just do one of these on social media and stuff we've done with our kids and what that looks like. I don't know if this is the time for that, but the idea that he was close to God, that she's wrestling with, that, as it says here, like so close to God that could happen to someone. I think that's an amazing theological moment for your daughter, for you to be able to step into. I think it's an opportunity that, well, yes, she's now wrestling with something deeply connected to her faith. I wouldn't be afraid of the wrestling. God's not surprised, right? Like we've got to kind of put it in a bigger context of God's in control, and God is walking with your 14-year-old and walking with you. And while she's still in the home, you're being given an opportunity to wrestle through this. And so the idea of somebody who is close to God losing their life, well, being a believer doesn't guarantee I'm not going to lose my life, right? It doesn't mean I'm not going to suffer. Look at Jesus. Like if anyone was close to God, it's Jesus, and his path of suffering was immense. And so you go within that, just helping her process that in a really good way. Just because I am walking with God doesn't mean that my loved ones won't suffer, doesn't mean that I won't experience death. Why? Because bigger picture, we're in a fallen planet. Death is a part of our experience because of sin. And so within that, like, this is a reality, right? There is a good and evil battle taking place. There is spiritual warfare. There are things that you can help her understand, and yet God is sovereign, and it cannot happen without passing his hand. So then if God is doesn't mean he's not good, doesn't change his character, and you can build all that into her. And so I think there's a beautiful wrestling that you can go through with her that we're not going to unpack everything here, but I really think it's a great opportunity for her to step in and go, okay, let's talk about this. Let's wrestle through it. And if you don't have an answer, like, wrestle through it and find it with her, right? Like that. There's a invitation. I was youth ministry. When I did youth ministry, this was the picture that God gave me, was as a person, whether it was a serve team member that was there or it was us that were paid to be there, it was like, you're just hanging around a house, and the house is the kid, and you're waiting for them to open a window. They're never going to open the door. Rarely do you get the door open, but they might open a window. And when the window opens, you better be close enough to jump through that window so that you can be in the moment.
Yeah. And I would say, kind of back to a social media take on this too, Sarah, is if you're going to help your daughter guide the conversation through this and process it, then you need to limit the amount of voices that are also doing that.
Absolutely.
And so I would say
that's great.
Taking that maybe considering taking some social media away so that you can shape her conversation and help her process in one direction. But if she gets on, and the way that algorithms work is they'll feed her 27 other videos about it, she's going to be having so many different voices that it will just continue to be confusing for her instead of helping her process that.
That's so good. Yeah, my 14-year-old doesn't have social media. And that's a choice we've made. She has access to my wife's phone on the way home from school often. And she'll often be on my wife's Instagram, and yet it's together. It's not and it's normally Formula One videos of all things, but yeah, to your point, the algorithm, you don't get to control. Somebody else is controlling that. And down to if a video pops up and you watch it for a certain amount of time, it will feed you more, right? Like you don't even have to like it. And so for your daughter, instantly now within her algorithm is going to be stuff that is going to be extra voice. I love the language extra voices.
Yeah.
I would say that's another wrestling. How do you eliminate those, especially in a time when she's got questions and working through something at a deeper level?
Yeah. And we understand this is difficult. These aren't magic bullets for you, Sarah. I understand it's not easy to navigate that. And I don't think it's easy for any of us to process these, but especially a 14-year-old process the emotions of just things that are going on and conflicting views and people being angry at each other and, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is not easy. So Sarah, praying for you and hope that, conversations go in a direction where you can point her closer to God instead of allowing her to fall away.
And that's where community is important for Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you feel like you've hit a ceiling, then invite Christian community in, invite people that you trust to be a voice. And even if it's just for Sarah to get advice, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what she's doing here. But I would even say that's where a life group's so important, right? That they can wrestle with you and help you and navigate that. I love that within our life group, we've kind of got people who have already, their empty nest, they've walked through some life. Then there's us and where we're at, where we got kids out, but kids still home. And you're able to help navigate some of the moments.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in our life group, it was a Tuesday night, we're having life group. Nobody had showed up yet. They show up and my daughter had a health thing going on. And I just remember asking this couple like, hey, you've lived a lot more life than me. What would you do? Take her to the hospital or no? And they're like, absolutely, you need to go. Yeah. And it was just such a relief to go, okay, I felt that, I thought that, but I don't really know.
Right.
And so to have somebody be able to be another voice, I would say that's where community is huge.
That's good. That's good. One more question for us here. Last one. Janice asks this: when it comes to my prayer life, I have no problem praying for others or for situations, but I struggle praying for myself. It feels awkward and almost selfish. Is there some way to overcome this?
Do you ever feel this?
I think it depends on how I pray. So if I'm praying for myself and I'm praying for a new car, it feels selfish. If I'm praying for myself in a like, Lord, protect me, help me to deal with my pride, help me to, follow you more closely, God, that kind of thing. I think I don't feel that. I think it comes down to my motivation even too. If I'm praying, I know my heart and why I'm praying what I'm praying.
Yeah.
So if it's praying for my selfish gain, I think I feel that a little bit more. But if it's praying for myself in how do I get closer to Jesus? How do I follow his mission more closely? How do I navigate a difficult situation ahead of me? How do I ask for God's strength in my life because I can't do it? And it is a submission posture. I don't necessarily feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think probably a great barometer for this is you mentioned motivation, but I think how much time do I spend on myself and how much time do I spend on others?
Yeah, that's good.
And if that weighs more towards I'm always asking God for me or it's me-centric, then I would say there's probably some motivation in there. There's probably some deeper look at why am I me-centric in this moment? Why am I struggling to get outside of that? I think if you're 90% others and every time you go to pray for yourself, you feel like, well, I feel this is selfish or I feel like it's centered on me, then I would keep that big picture because it's probably not. And then I don't know about you, but throwing it to just a reality of daughters and kids, that within that, I love it when they talk about what they're going through and and if he's our Heavenly Father, which he is, then what does it look like to pour that out to him? So,
yeah, no, I would agree. I think that's a good perspective on it. I think it's just that, like you said, the perspective of looking at the big picture and going, hey, is this me-centric prayers or is it praying for myself? I think those are two different things because if it's me-centric, it's like, the whole world's about you. If it's, man, I'm praying for myself, but it's not all about me, I think that's different.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, for anybody who's made it this far.
Oh boy.
You've made it into the podcast club.
Bear.
There you have it, folks. This has been a good one. It's a great weekend, and we're super excited to see what God is going to continue to do through Global Month as we hear from different global partners, and we talk about that. But we'd like to continue to answer your questions. So if you have questions, please send those to us, unedited at heightschurch.com.
That's where they send them?
That's where they're going to head. Send those questions.
Okay. And it's
we will
where?
answer some.
You made it sound like it rolled into one.
At heightschurch.com.
There it is.
There it is. Unedited at heightschurch.com. Unedited at heightschurch.com. Is that enough of a pause for you? That's good. But go ahead and send those questions. We would love to answer those. Rate, review, subscribe. We'll be back next week with another Oreo product because I won't leave it at my house this time. I'll bring it back. So here we go. Final thought for you today is this. We all have a mission that we put ourselves on, but God wants us to submit our mission to Him, to admit to Him the things that we have going on in our life so that we can be people that are a part of the Great Commission, not just our mission. And so what that looks like is submitting to God and saying, God, it's not about me, it's about you. And we hope that you can do that this week. Love you guys. So grateful for all of you. And we'll see you next week.
Love you.